All right, guys, so now that our graffiti names are drawn on good paper and outlined with Sharpie, the next step is to add a shadow. This step is optional. If it makes sense to you and you want to add it, awesome. If it's overwhelming to you and you feel like you just don't get it or don't care to add it, that is totally fine. But I really do think that it kind of adds to the, kind of makes it look a little bit three-dimensional and I think adds a cool effect to the style. So basically to do a shadow, and feel free to practice this first on your sketch paper, to add a shadow, you want to pick a side that you want to put all the shadows on all of the letters. So for example, and you know, they have many sides, so it would be whatever side, let's say the right or the left, top or bottom on all of them. So for this one, I usually do the right side whenever I add a shadow, but for this one, I think I'm going to do the left. So that means I want to look at each individual part of each letter, and on the left-hand side of them, I'm going to add a shadow by just making that side more bold. So I'm going to start over here. So I'm going to start with this part of the J, and I am just going to add like a little rectangle, and I'm going to color it in. And this really only looks good if you do it nice and neat. Okay, so you can see already it kind of looks like that part is three-dimensional. So now I'm going to go to this main part of the J, and this would be the left side of that. So I'm going to do the same thing here. And so again, you really have to kind of break down each side of each part of the letter. And so for the arrow, it's really this side of the arrow. That is the left. And I'm going to do the bottom part of it, but I'm going to choose to not do the top part of it. Now, that's like the left of the top. This is like a right side of a letter. This is the right. Don't add a shadow there. This is the right. This is the right. So I got the whole J. So now I'm going to do that same exact thing. I'm going to kind of take each piece and ask, okay, what's the left side of this? Can I fit a shadow? I'm going to do that on all of my letters. And then we'll talk about cutting them out. All right, so now that I'm done with the shadow, I can go around and I'm going to cut out my bubble letter name, my graffiti name. Now, I don't want you guys to cut right up against the letters. I think it's a little tricky, especially with all the holes, things inside of the letters. So what I suggest you do is you draw a shape around your name before you start cutting. So it can be just like really close up against it. You can do it with pencil first, or if you just feel brave and you want to do a Sharpie. I'm just going to draw a very small shape going right up against the outside of it. And this is going to make cutting it out a whole lot easier than if you were cutting out everything right up against the edge. All right, so now I'm gonna cut right on the outside of that line. I think that line will look kind of cool. And you know what? I'm actually going to add a shadow onto that shape first. Totally optional. All right, now I'm going to cut it out.